It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. We know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 364. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe.
Hello.
Hello. Powering through the migraine.
I am. If I sound like words aren't coming to me, that's because words aren't coming to me. I'm trying my best to get through. Yeah, it's pretty rough right now.
Yeah.
Oops.
So, should we tell them about my latest adventure?
I think we should. What a crazy thing.
So my son is in audition for a play in local community theater that's been around for years and years, and he got a role.
Yeah.
And they just found out with like 6 weeks to go that the actor who plays his father,
who's also the lead,
had to drop out because he had to have surgery.
So last night we got a text from Brian
where he had kind of sort of volunteered me.
You got voluntold.
To take. They're like, hey, my dad used to act. I'm like,
30 years ago.
30 years ago? All the plays were still in Old English. So now I'm the titular character in a play in 6 weeks.
That you are.
After a 30-year hiatus.
This is your big comeback. This is your big moment. It'll be really fun for
It'll
you
be
to
fun,
do with Brian.
But it's a little
overwhelming.
daunting.
A little scary.
Well, yeah.
That's how I felt whenever they said, hey, you want to be in Catalina this weekend?
Yeah.
I was like, to do what?
So life just got a lot busier. Oh, and also we have 6 weeks, but we're going to be gone for 10 days of them because we're going to Hawaii.
Yes, we are.
So anyway, these are the things we do to ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, good problems to
Yeah.
have. It'll be a really special experience for you and Brian to have.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So before we dig in too much, what is our bingo of the week?
Oh, good question. Our bingo number one is Olivia Amato.
Okay. So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, this one thing we have this week is our guest is Jodie Sweetin. She's back.
Yes, she was kind enough to return.
Yes.
And we didn't even have to ask.
No.
They volunteered.
She's so sweet.
They were very sweet. And they were just like, well, we didn't get to do a real thing. Can she come back? Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. We're not going to say no to that.
Yeah.
And then we also have a whole bunch of stuff. Peloton just decided the last 10 days they were going to just drop stuff left and right.
Yeah.
So we're going to get all caught up on that.
Do you think it's like they're like, hey, let's do all this stuff before we have a new CEO?
I don't know.
And then
they can't tell us no.
Right. He or she can't tell us no. Let's do it all now.
I don't know. My guess is it's probably just the timing of some of these things take a long time to get up and running.
Yeah.
But we also have some friendly reminders for you. We have some issues to talk about as far as some problems Peloton has been having. We're also going to do a lot of instructor updates. There's been several of those and tons and tons of stuff. Celebs. There's a celeb sighting. There is a new artist series to talk about. There's some rumors going around. There is all that. And in case you missed it, stuff too.
Okay. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's always nice.
Oh, we got a new review this week.
We did get a new review, and got to have it pulled up to read.
Oh.
Whoops.
Yeah, whoopsie daisy.
Maybe next week.
Okay, but it was
Sorry.
a really nice
It was
one.
a very nice review.
Yeah.
That's why we're reading it.
Yes. We haven't gotten any negative reviews in a long time either. A lot of people have left us reviews, but they leave us stars. They don't say anything.
They don't actually type anything out. They just start. Yeah.
So it's been a long time since we've had a wordy one.
Yes. So you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, you like the page, you join the group. It keeps you up to date on everything. It's a great way to interact with other people who aren't the OPP. You can watch these over on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/theclipout, where for $5 a month, you get ad-free episodes. You get all sorts of bonus content every week. We have a whole other episode just sitting there waiting for you. And if we get them early, you get them early. And it helps the show. It helps us give some small pittance to the writers and stuff that help out with the website.
We just got some new writers this week. It's so fun.
Yeah, so it's just it's helpful to the show to keep it afloat. So that's greatly appreciated. And then finally, of course, you can sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com, where you will get a weekly email with all the links and things like that for the things that we talk about. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Users have been reporting this week that their bike systems are freezing up following the most recent update.
Yeah, and it's been going on for a couple of weeks. I've seen lots of posts about it, and I found this article interesting because it's kind of very low key. This is a very small affiliate, and it's NBC Chicago. Just a small article.
Yeah.
The reason I find that interesting is because people keep posting on the OPP nonstop.
Right.
And Peloton will not address the issue. But in this article, they're like, yes, we have definitely acknowledged and we have found a subset of people this is affecting, and we're working on it. That's what you got. That's all they say.
We're taking this very seriously.
So it seems to be mostly with the older bikes, and it seems to be that the screen just freezes. And what comes up is it'll say 10 to 15 minutes in class, it's you're not connected to the internet, you're going to have to reboot, but then everything just freezes and people can't do anything.
They can't do the reboot.
The music continues.
Yeah.
But other than unplugging it or on the tread, I guess you could turn it. It's not a tread. This is only on the bike. So forget I said anything about the tread. Don't let me confuse the issue. There's really no way other than that to just unplug it. Or you could hit the little... Do people even have the little button on the top anymore? I don't know that they do. That was an old Peloton bike thing.
You are asking the wrong guy.
I know I am. So, yeah, it's interesting to me because I feel like the company Peloton needs to communicate with people. Yeah. Because some people, the only way to fix it is to get a new screen. And see, back in the day, back in 2018, 2017, when I had gotten the tread, I was having the same problem on my original version bike. And they had come out with all these new things, and suddenly my bike just could not load the new stuff. I seriously think that's what's going on. And the only way to fix it is to get a new screen. I mean, they're saying that some of these people, they're developing a solution. They don't have a timeline for that solution. And that's really all the article says. But I just felt like it is our duty to let people know this is out there. It's happening. And I don't think that you should rely on the answer from a tier 1
for sure
customer service specialist because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that is not Peloton. That is across the board. Almost anywhere you call, the first person you reach doesn't really know anything.
Have you tried turning it off and on?
Right. They're looking at a book. Yeah. And because, Peloton is not at the height of their game, they don't have as many people. They don't have as many people to fix things and to get back to you as far as customer service. And no, that's not right. I think that you need to keep raising the issue. I think you need to keep escalating. And if somebody tells you deal with it, it's your internet, and it's not, then you need to escalate that to the next person. Do not take no for an answer. That's my advice.
So many people have multiple pieces of equipment where it's getting harder to to get away with that because they're like, well, how come my tread work? How come my row works? How come my tonal works? What have you?
I totally agree with that. I will say for some people, they might have an issue with a mesh network. We had the issue of not having a mesh network, and that just means having little tiny routers throughout your house that all go to one router. And the benefit of doing that is that you have routers really can only have about up to 10 devices on it at a time. Most routers, there are exceptions to that. I'm just talking your standard router here.
She's tier 1 support right now, people.
Don't come at me. But the reason that that's a big deal is because when we started counting up how many devices we had like over 30 devices.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Everybody in the house has a phone and a laptop. You have 2 phones and 2 laptops.
Right.
And then the TV, all the TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to mention, there's the Xboxes and the iPads and the other things.
And then you have things that connect to your Wi-Fi these days.
Like the refrigerator.
Like the refrigerator.
Yeah. And all of our lights are little lights where we can tell Google to do things, and Google. And so we have a lot of devices, and 30 is an understatement now. We are way past that. But anyway, moving to an Eero mesh network really solved the problem for us.
This is not a commercial.
Not at all. Hashtag there is no affiliate. Nobody's paying us for this. But some people need to know this because it was life-changing for us. One of our listeners, actually, who lives here in St. Louis, works up at the Costco, reached out to us and was like, you need a mesh network. Go get one. Yeah. And then we did, and like our life changed. It was crazy. So
for sure.
Just want other people to know that's a thing.
Yes, absolutely. So the tread is getting pace targets.
Yes. And it is so freaking exciting. Like, I cannot tell you how much I love it. I mean, I love it so much. Okay, so I tried the classes today.
Yeah.
You were going to say something snotty.
Are you going to marry it?
No, I'm not going to marry it.
Are you going to live in sin with it?
Maybe. This is so cool, though, because what it does is it's very similar to Power Zone in that there's 7 different zones, and it's a little bit different right now. There's no pace. There's no FTP test. I think that's to come, by the way. I suspect that's to come because remember the leak that Christine D'Ercole put on her page? Well, that was definitely an FTP test. So I just think we're not there yet.
Gotcha.
I think this is round 1 of the releases we're getting.
Okay.
And when I took the class, a couple of things stood out to me. They mention in the class, I took the intro with Matt Wilpers, and he specifically says that you can take the classes on the app. Well, you can't take the classes on the app because if you go there, the collection's not there. So I think that is to come as well.
Makes sense.
Probably still rolling out.
Yeah.
And then the other thing about that is you have these little colored bars, just like your Power Zone, just like on the row. And it's great because when you first start it up, it's so similar to Lane Break. It's like, okay, based on what you've been doing, we think you should be X. And they have like all these different pace targets that you can have. Okay. So they put me in one that was embarrassingly low, but makes sense how slow I am. And then I took a 20-minute intro class, and it was on the low side by just a smidge. And I think that I could go up to the next level. But it was great because you start off and you're just you do a jog, you do an intro, and then in this particular class, since it was an intro, they had you do all of the different 7 zones. You did an interval in each of those zones and then did a rest in the recovery in between. It was different. It was nice to have that kind of structure. It was nice to have the very specific feedback because when you go into the different bars, they were so small. The changes like from easy to jogging, from jogging to like light was so small. It was like 0.3, 0.4. And when I increase, I'm like 1.5. Let's go. Right. You know, and that's probably
all or nothing.
I really am. Yeah. This is pretty much my life. And I think that might be holding me back a little bit in my training. I'm going too hard at times, and then I'm probably not resting enough on intervals. Yeah. So I found it super helpful from that vantage point. It was just nice to do something different on the tread. And I also took the Global Running Day class back to back with that today. And I know we're going to talk about Global Running Day classes in a little while, but I just have to say how fun it was. It was all for you vibes. They had 3 instructors in the US studio.
All for one.
Yes. What did I say?
All for you.
Oh, yeah, all for one. All for one. It's the migraine.
Yeah.
And they had 3 instructors in the U.S. studio, and they had 2 instructors in the U.K. studio.
Because of the metric system.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was a 30-minute class, and they kept going back and forth between, like, they first of all came up on the screen together, and then it was like one instructor led off to the other. So it was the U.S. studio going to the U.K. I thoroughly enjoyed it so much. I was right back in 2018, seeing all my instructors right there on the screen in front of me. It was so great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was nice. And it's Global Running Day today, so it just was like perfect. All these
I didn't get you a card.
You really should have.
I feel so bad.
You should. But that was just delightful. So I had to share that because if you haven't tried the tread, you haven't been doing the tread content, honestly, this was like so fun. It was the most fun I'd had on the platform in a long time. It was just great. Those
That's
2 back
great.
to back. Yeah.
We should also talk real quick about the fact that Max, formerly HBO Max, that's the worst name change ever.
I know.
But it isn't showing up on the entertainment tab
For some people.
But I was going to say for some.
Okay. I was just making sure. Sorry.
I was mid-sentence.
Sorry.
There isn't even an ellipses. For some users, Max is not showing up on the tabs. Let me use the passive voice.
Sorry.
That's okay. So if you're looking to watch hacks while you're on the tread, you might be out of luck.
Yeah, you might. Peloton acknowledges that. They know it's in the works. This is showing up as on their like a minor outage. So this is actually showing up as a real issue on their outage page.
They're acknowledging that this one exists.
Publicly, not
Yes.
just in a random article.
Right.
So, yeah.
They're not being shamed by NBC Chicago
Yet.
into talking about it.
Yet.
Because NBC Chicago's like, we don't care if Max is on there.
Yeah, I know.
We ain't Max.
We're not Max.
Yeah. Peloton has added yoga to its monthly badge regimen.
Yeah, this is cool. It's really nice. You know, we've seen a couple of months in a row of having these challenges, and I should say it's yoga and meditation. Both of them are now within the yoga badge.
Okay.
Within badges. So every month you can participate in those challenges. So if you're a person that doesn't bike all the time or doesn't walk all the time, this is a great way to. Maybe you're just a really big yoga person.
Yeah.
Now you're not left out, because some people really felt left out by that. So it's nice.
Okay.
Tom's like, I don't really get any of it, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a badge.
It is.
Yeah.
It's nice. Nice to have something to reach for if that's your topic of choice.
Before we wrap up this segment, we just want to have a friendly reminder, a PSA, if you will, not to be confused with PSL. People are like, wait, there's a studio in Atlanta? No. Public service announcement. Brace yourself for major schedule changes. Every year, we tend to see them around this time. So if you see them, don't run off half-cocked thinking your favorite instructor got fired.
Right.
Please, at all times, try to stay fully cocked.
Yeah, and we will see them now. We will see them in the fall. It's every year.
Yes.
Every year, like clockwork, this happens.
Yeah.
So just breathe. It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You got sent a fun thing, as fun as laundry can be.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of things about laundry that are fun, but this was.
Yeah.
in that it solves a problem for me.
Yes.
And it's called Active Hamper. The reason that I say that is because here's my system. Here's my brilliant system.
Right.
If I put my disgusting clothes right into the laundry basket, what happens is all of my clothes get funky.
One rotten apple.
There you go. So what I started doing long ago, this has been years in the making.
Yes.
I drape the clothes on the side of the tub so that they can dry. And then those nasty dried clothes that are like cardboard, I then throw those in the dirty hamper. And although they're still funky, it's not wet funky.
Right.
So now it doesn't funk everything up as much.
Right.
It's still disgusting.
It's not good funky. It's like funky on a cruise ship.
Yes.
Like that band doesn't really know how to play funk.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. So Active Hamper has decided they're going to solve this problem for you. They reached out to me. They told us we've got the solution. It's called Active Hamper, and they have an upright hamper. It has nylon and a spandex insert, 3 different compartments at its base for dehumidification and deodorization buckets. Those dry and pull out the odor from your activewear. The best part is, though, whenever it's laundry day, you pull everything, including the insert out,
right,
and you throw it in the dirty clothes.
Boom, done. And I will say this, as someone who shares a bathroom with you,
it made a difference.
It makes a difference.
It really, I mean, and we have a really big bathroom that, like, I don't notice the scent that much.
Yeah, because we do have a nice sized bathroom. We're fortunate in that regard.
It's like a long bathroom. So
with
it's
2
like,
sinks.
Yeah. And so it doesn't like if we lived in the old house, that would be a no
Yeah,
go.
that bathroom was way small.
Way small.
Undoable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't even have a hamper in there. But this was a game changer. You didn't smell it.
I did not.
Yeah. And so the cool part is they are getting ready to do their pre-sale this coming Monday. Okay. So today's the 5th. So that's going to be the Friday will be the 7th. So the 10th. They're going live on the 10th. Okay. If you use code Crystal, you will get $30 off an Active Hamper now through next Thursday. So that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And they actually, we were both skeptical.
Yes, very. And they were so, and also I just have, on a personal note, it's really cool because these guys live in Missouri.
Yeah.
And they live just across the state.
In Kansas City.
But
we like them anyway.
But just a delightful, like, normal people. These are people starting a business, and we want to support them. So that is why we are doing this, and we wish them all the luck in the world. Love their system.
The Clip Out.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube from MetPro, here to answer all of your fitness and nutrition questions, it's Angelo. Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on today.
Well, thank you for being here. And we've heard from this person before, but this is a very specific question for Karen Marquez. She said that she is recovering from a recent hospitalization and illness, and she's still on antibiotics. Her appetite is shot. So how does she manage this? She's still trying to eat 5 times a day, but she doesn't have it in her to eat what she usually does. And her doctor said, listen to her body, get rest. So if she doesn't have the energy for regular workouts, and do what she can. She said that she is still getting a gallon of water per day, so she's still on point with water. She's concerned, though, that when she gets her appetite back, how is she going to ramp that up without affecting her overall weight loss? She also wanted you to know, and I feel like this is important too, she's working with her MetPro coach on these issues, but it's a question she's heard before, and she's sure it will come around again. So I just wanted you to know we are working on this.
Excellent. And what was the first name again?
Karen.
Karen. All right, Karen. These are great questions. So I am so sorry for your recent illness. And yes, of course, listen to your doctors and listen to your body. We're not medical professionals, but it sounds like this is a common scenario, regardless of what the health circumstance was. I actually get this a lot. Hey, I had a surgery, or I had XYZ health issue. I lost some weight. I wasn't able to eat much. I have no appetite. How do I manage it when the appetite comes back? So I actually want to start with the last thing you mentioned, Karen, when your appetite comes back. So don't be overly concerned with that. What your coach at MetPro is going to do is make sure that as you add calories back to manage your appetite, that you're not adding it all in 1 or 2 meals. It's going to be spread gradually and spread across the day with as many small meals as possible. And this is where a lot of the industry, a lot of fitness gurus they miss the mark a little, because you've heard there's the debate, how many times a day should I be eating? And then they'll quote the science. Well, there's no science in you losing more weight when you're eating more meals or less meals. And that is absolutely true. It is about the totals. However, I can tell you there's absolutely science in your body's ability to increase your intake levels, eat more food without gaining when you're spreading meals over multiple meals a day, especially in the presence of regular physical activity. That's why during metabolic revving periods, we have someone eat more frequently. It's not that those more frequent meals instantly translate to weight loss. It's that enables your body to acclimate when you just eat a little now, a little a few minutes later, and a little a few minutes later, keeps that metabolic rate revving hot. And you add exercise on top of it, your metabolism increases at a much faster pace. So your MetPro coach is going to help you with that as the time comes. Now, the issue that you're dealing with immediately is just a loss of appetite. And so that really is going to be a simple matter of selecting foods that are not overly filling. So all the typical, I call them bodybuilding foods, like oatmeal and brown rice and sweet potato. Those are all great foods, but they are designed to be highly voluminous for the amount of calories consumed. So those are not the options that you want to go with. And a little known fact, so things such as pasta and tortillas and things like that, they're not necessarily the weight gain villains or carbohydrate villains that they're sometimes made out to be. Let's just take pasta for an example. It has a reputation for weight gain, but pasta is actually a medium glycemic carbohydrate. So really, why is it known as being, it doesn't have a bunch of fat in it, so it doesn't have extra calories coming from non-carb sources. So why does it have kind of this bad rap? Well, the reason is because you can eat a thimbleful of pasta and get 30 grams, 45 grams, 60 grams of carbs without feeling like you've eaten very much food. So when you sit down to eat a typical portion size of pasta, it is not uncommon to consume 90 to 120 grams of carbohydrates. Whereas when you sit down to eat a typical portion size of sweet potato or brown rice, you've only consumed 15, 30, maybe 45 grams because the food itself has more volume to it. And so that's one of those things that it comes down to getting to know which is which. Of course, that's what your coach, Karen, is going to help you with. But I would be a big fan of you doing something like a tortilla, something like even temporarily pasta. I don't know if you even like that, but something that's going to be less filling. And the same thing applies to your proteins. Now, there's not a huge satiety difference in your proteins, but that's where something like a protein shake can make a big difference. I've had some stomach issues in the past, and there's no way I was getting my protein needs from chicken breast and lean beef during that time period. But I had no problem adding a couple. I use a vegetarian protein powder during the day, and a whey protein powder in the evening. Sometimes I switch it based on my activities, but it really helps me get a little bit of extra protein and calories without feeling heavy in my stomach. And then the last tip I'll give you, Karen, is the food that makes your stomach feel bloated is often raw vegetables. So if you're doing things like cauliflower, broccoli, or things like that, these are excellent foods I encourage everyone to eat. But if you're feeling full, you may need to either have them cooked, steamed, or in smaller quantity, and opt for vegetables that are a little less intense. You can do green beans, you can do mushrooms, you can do onions, you can do ones that'll still give you a little bit of caloric value without taking up a bunch of space in your stomach. So those are all things, of course, talk to your MetPro coach about. They'll know your personal circumstances best, but that'll help you get some good fuel in you in the short run.
Awesome.
Very good.
Well, thank you very much. And if people would like information like this, tailor-made for their fitness journey, and maybe even have you or Crystal help them out, where can they find you guys?
metpro.co/TCO.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Instructors in the news.
Everybody can calm down.
They can.
Cody Rigsby has signed a new contract with Peloton.
Yes, he
So
has.
all these people that are like, I noticed he didn't have a class for 2 days. Did he quit? Did he get fired? Has he been abducted?
I will
Has
say-
he fallen and can't get up?
There were a few things that raised eyebrows.
Does
that,
he
like,
have rickets?
He doesn't have rickets either. Also, just for the record, he's also not engaged. Not engaged.
Did he get engaged?
No.
And his new husband won't let him work at Peloton anymore?
Well, can I just explain what happened?
No, I'm trying to stir up more rumors.
Oh, okay, go for it. Let me know when you're done. Then I'll talk.
Did he tape Major League Baseball without express written consent?
No.
Okay.
You done?
Probably.
Okay. Let me know if you've got more.
Okay.
Okay. So he went on vacation. I know it's a shocker. He's like, I'm going to get the country wrong. It's the migraine. I don't know where he is.
I don't think migraine's a country.
It's somewhere super far away. It's where they do lots of samurai stuff.
China?
I think.
Okay.
But I honestly, anything that has to do with another continent, I'm not great at. Okay.
Because we're American.
It's true. But my head is just like pounding. So just assume you know where he is. He went on vacation, and while he was gone, another thing happened, and that is that Instagram put out a new type of drop-down menu where you have to choose what kind of public figure you are.
Okay.
So Cody is a fitness instructor, and that is now what it says. It used to say something different.
Right.
Some people say, and I cannot confirm this, that it used to say Peloton, blah, 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 instructor. Now, on his LinkedIn, in his link in bio, everywhere else still says he's a Peloton instructor.
Yeah.
Does not stop these crazy people from posting all over the OPP, all over all the groups, everywhere, saying that Cody is quitting. He's not quitting. And that is what this is addressing. He was like, hey, not only am I not leaving, I signed a new contract. You're going to be with me for a long time.
Yes.
When they sign these contracts, it's usually a 3 to 5 year deal. At least it always has been. Maybe that's changed over time. So we are definitely going to enjoy Cody's presence for the time being.
And he is not happy with the rumors.
He's not. Yeah. I told Tom when I sent him the video, I was like, sound on for tone. You need the tone. You got to hear it. And he was like, stop it.
Well, it's funny because like we saw the post in the OPP and we went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I
and
thought,
we
well,
were
let's
like,
check. Let's check.
And we were just like, this doesn't seem true at all.
Yeah, there's
and therefore, we didn't talk about it.
Right, because there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
It was a non-issue.
Yeah.
But some people, they got to get the pot and they got to stir.
Yes.
They got to stir. So
there you go.
Stirred.
So you can, if you are a Cody fan, you can sleep soundly knowing he is with you for the foreseeable future.
And you can share it with all your other friends who may not be as into Cody as you are. Like maybe they're just a casual Cody.
Right. Or maybe they love Cody, but they're not on the Facebook every day,
Exactly.
scoping stuff out.
So they may not know. So watch for these notes and know. Let's talk the rumors down. Let's get people back to. There is enough to panic over this year. We do not need to worry about an instructor leaving.
Absolutely.
Got bigger fish to fry.
Emma Lovewell is joining the Tread team.
Did join
the Tread team.
It has occurred. Yes, it's super exciting. Right now, she is teaching hikes, and every Thursday in the month of June, she will be teaching hikes. This is great because up until this time, it's mostly been Rebecca Kennedy. Not that no other instructor has taught hikes, but there's just not as many of them. So to have an instructor who is going to specifically be adding more hiking content, that's great because the hikes are, surprisingly effective because they're low impact and you get such an incredible workout. And, 15% at, well, okay, some of you are going to be 12.5%. But for, a certain amount of time.
That was a little bit of a flex.
It honestly wasn't. I just knew somebody was going to yell at me and go, I don't have 15%. If you have a baby tread, you don't. That is accurate. But
You just called it a baby tread. You're like, I'm not trying to talk down to your baby tread.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant as opposed to the behemoth that I have, because it's a giant piece of machinery.
Yeah.
But I love it so much, and no one will take it from me ever.
You're a size queen.
Stop. So anyway, congratulations to Emma Lovewell. I am curious to see if after the baby is here, will there be like running added to, like, will there be running classes added to what she does? Or
Gotcha.
will it be like, she's just going to stick to the hikes? There's no wrong answer. Not judging.
She's going to have stroller on that treadmill.
That would be pretty cool.
I think it's probably dangerous.
I think a little bit.
think they would
Especially
probably.
with a baby in it.
Yeah.
That seems like a bad idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
Ben and Leanne got married
They did twice.
twice.
So they had first a beautiful intimate ceremony, and it seems like it was very private, like family. Who knows who else was there? Their
Right.
closest friends, I'm sure. And then they had like a big celebration, and it was a party, and Leanne wore basically like one of those disco balls as a dress. It was just like so sparkly, and it's very Leanne.
Yeah.
She pulled it off beautifully. It is exactly what everybody would expect when Leanne says sparkly dress. It was quite the affair, and all the instructors over in the UK really, they spent a lot of time showing that like they were getting ready, and then a lot of them posted pics from the entire night. There were a couple of US instructors there as well. I believe it was Allie and Ross Rayburn, which is just a weird coupling. Like they weren't there together,
Right.
obviously, but like, out of all the instructors, like if you were like, who are the two people from the United States that will show up at Ben and Leanne's wedding? Ross, okay.
Yeah.
But like, and I don't mean anything against Allie, but like just they don't go together.
Right.
Not in a bad way. It's just not.
Like there's some instructors you see palling around all the time.
Right.
And obviously it's hard to pal around all the time because they live in different countries on different
Exactly.
continents. So
like if somebody was like Jess King and Rebecca Kennedy went, I would be like, that tracks.
Yeah.
They're together all the time. That would make sense to me. But Ross and Allie, like that
Yeah.
was just so. I also want to say a lot of people felt like it was really weird that more U.S. instructors weren't there. And I just want to say, I don't think that's weird. First of all, have you guys purchased an intercontinental travel airplane ticket lately? It's super
but
expensive.
They got the cash.
They do. But also the time off. And if
Yeah.
you have other things planned.
For sure.
Not to mention Ben and Leanne. Like, let's think about this. If you wanted to invite all of the instructors, that's 58 instructors plus their significant others.
Yeah.
That's over 100 people just
there.
in people
Yeah.
you work with. And then you haven't even invited any of like the production staff or
Yeah.
any of those people
Or
that
family.
right. I mean, that's my point.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that crazy that not as many people went. I mean, I think it would be weird if none of the US instructors showed up and it was in the US. That would be weird.
Yeah.
I would raise an eyebrow at that.
Yeah.
But all of the UK instructors were there, and only a couple of that does not strike me as weird. Some people think it's weird, but I don't think so.
I don't think it's weird. I think also it's probably harder for them to have close relationships with the
Yeah.
U.S. instructors because they work in different countries. They're not seeing them every day in the same way that people who work out of PSNY do.
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely.
And we have a name change on the platform.
We do. It's just really sweet to see that Leanne officially changed her name, and it officially changed on the platform that she is Leanne Hainsby Aldis.
Did all the instructors add Aldis to their last name like when Courtney Cox got married on Friends?
I don't know, but that would be amazing if they had.
Do you remember that when she changed her name to Courtney Cox Arquette? On
Oh.
the first episode back after her marriage, everybody in the credits, it was like David Schwimmer Arquette.
I do remember
Jennifer
that.
Aniston Arquette.
I had completely forgotten that was a thing, but that was really funny whenever we watched that.
Yeah. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was cute.
I didn't realize they were polyamorous. Big news for Becs Gentry. She's joining NBC's Olympics coverage team.
Yeah, she's going to be covering Paris. That's pretty darn cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, huge congrats. She is really like all of a sudden everything. It could just be because it probably would have been happening if she hadn't been pregnant and then had a baby and then.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that like all of a sudden things are just clicking into place, and she's like really next leveling her getting out there. in
Yeah,
front of
for
people.
sure. I mean, that's a huge platform.
Huge. I'm so happy for her. That's just amazing. Huge congrats.
So Robin Arzon and Benny Adami did the Hyrox races.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Still makes me want cookies.
I know, right? I don't know that Benny's done his yet. I think he's still in training. But Robin had her race this past weekend, and she even got a little papped by one of the, like, it wasn't Sports Illustrated, but it was something like that.
She got what?
Paparazzi.
Oh.
Papped. They saw her.
Gotcha.
They did not perform a pap smear.
I was like, I don't think we should be talking about this. That is her private business. What? We're not that kind of show.
No, but the paparazzi caught pics of her, and they were like, "Oh, look, it's Robin Arzon from Peloton." And
invasive, but less than I thought originally.
A lot less invasive. And
that's a telephoto lens.
I didn't see the details of how it all turned out. I don't know. I know there's supposed to be a global leaderboard and you compete. And I saw that she posted she had done it, but I didn't see any of those details. But she seemed to really enjoy it. And I mean, she's such a badass. I'm sure she did amazing. When we posted this article, though, Benny Adami was like, ooh, maybe next year we can both do it in America and Robin and I can partner up. Isn't he just a doll? He's just the sweetest. I love him. That would be fun. It would be fun. That would be so cool. I hope they do. I hope that happens.
Kendall Toole was at 30 Rock for some odd reason.
Yeah, all of a sudden she is hanging out with very high-level journalists, and one of them is at 30 Rock, and then there was the, in classic Kendall, which you might like, but irritates the shit out of me. Ooh, I've got a secret I'm going to tell, and so the new thing.
Did she put the journalist in the shadows?
No. We got to see the journalist's face, but it might only be because the journalist was the one taking the picture. Otherwise,
touche.
Who knows? But she did say, that is, Kendall said in the post that she was going to be big things to come.
Okay.
Or great things to come, something like that. So, will she now be another correspondent to another thing? I don't know, because she's been all over the golf circuit lately.
Yeah.
Who knows? We will see. I'm sure we will find out about it at some point. Hopefully we'll just find out and it doesn't have to be a game we play to know, but who knows?
Peloton artist collaboration.
The latest artist series features Kacey Musgraves.
Yeah, this is going to be a really nice one. I took a class with Maddie over the weekend, and he was playing one of her newest singles. It was not part of the official lineup. I got the feeling Maddie would have loved to have been an official one of the instructors to do Kacey Musgrave classes, but he has some other surprises coming, and we will talk about that when we get to Pride. But he did say a few cool things about Kacey. He loves to give really interesting details, but a lot of people are very excited about this.
She's a big deal.
She is a big deal. And, it's nice because she kind of walks that line of country and pop. So a lot of people that might only fall in the country world and not know other things from pop world and vice versa know of her.
For sure. Yeah. There's a lot of people that don't listen to country music, but they like her.
Yeah. And I would say that the... what is it? The Arrow song is my favorite by her. Follow Your Arrow. Is that what it is? I love that song. Love that song so much. It is very much my vibe.
Sorry, I'm old. When you say Arrow song, I'm like Harry Nilsson?
No. But there will be a series of 7 different classes. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have full body strength. There is an outdoor walk and run with Maddie. So I guess he is having one.
Okay.
I should probably read these before I start talking. And then there's going to be a ride, and then there's going to be a ride with Robin, and a walk with Selena, and then a row with Matt Wilpers. So very cool. Very cool.
Also, not an official artist series or even official at this point, but we have reason to believe a Taylor Swift Tortured Poets Department class is coming our way.
We sure do. So June 27th, there will be a class that is only happening by invite. It will be with Robin, and it just happens that only Swifties got invited. Now, a lot of people that got invited were in the Peloton Swifties group, but I was definitely got some intel on the side that other people who had the hashtag Peloton Swifties and who happened to have taken pretty much all of the Swiftie classes also got invited to this class. Yes.
So then the next logical question that everyone will ask,
is she going to be there?
Is she going to pop in and say hello?
I don't know. I would say that it's very strange to me that this is going to be a pre-recorded class. This is not live, that this invite class is. I also think there will be, if there is a Tortured Poets Department class, it will be hard for me to believe there's only one, which means there might be other things, but this one is going to be pre-recorded and separate.
Okay.
Why is it special? You might ask.
Sure.
Why are the rest of them not invite only? You
And
might ask.
You will say, with the date of that class, if you match it up to her tour dates,
Yes.
she is not performing that day.
She has a performance
Like
on
two,
the 23rd.
I think that's what it was, the 23rd or the 24th, and then she performs again on the 28th.
Which is the day after this. So it could happen. Will it? I don't know. I mean, we all know Peloton probably needs Taylor Swift more than Taylor Swift needs.
I think right now everybody needs Taylor Swift more than
Oh.
Taylor Swift needs whatever that other thing is.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like this isn't about how huge Peloton is. This
No.
is about how huge Taylor Swift is.
Yeah.
But I will also say she's the kind of person that would do it if she wanted to.
I mean, she does not half-ass anything.
She does not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But if any of you lucky MFers get to meet her, I will die. Like, I will just collapse.
Yes.
I would. I mean, if I got invited to that, I would just. And she was there.
Yeah.
I don't think I could stay conscious. I don't think I could.
She played the arena the first year I worked there, but I didn't go.
And it was long before she was like.
She was big at that point in time, but not like she is now, obviously.
She's like
but
a phenomenon now.
But I had tickets to see Bob Seger, and I had never seen Bob Seger. It was
Get
the
that.
same night, so I'm like, I'm gonna go to the Bob Seger show.
Now you've seen Bob Seger like 3 times since then.
Twice.
So you probably should have gone to see Taylor Swift
Well, yeah, if I had known.
if you had known.
And to show you what a different world it was Taylor Swift with special guest Eric Church.
Definitely a different world.
Definitely a different world.
Although I would have loved that show.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that it does happen, and I don't know whether or not she'll be there. I think that's probably a big ask, but either way, it'll be a great time.
Peloton celebrity sightings.
We had an in-studio celebrity sighting from Ilana Glazer.
We did, and I just have to say, we just watched this movie.
Yeah, she was has a new movie that she wrote and starred in. Babes.
I really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of women out there would really enjoy this movie. This is a very much girl with friends movie.
Yeah, people are kind of comparing it. It's like Bridesmaids, but for childbirth or pregnancy.
I don't really remember Bridesmaids, so
Just that, like, it has a very female voice, obviously.
Yes, it
but
does.
it still has a little bit of like the raunchy comedy aspect to it.
oh yes,
But because it's female led, it's not, I don't know, leering, or it's just got a different vibe because of that.
yeah. Now I will also say there are some negative reviews coming from this class. One, that Peloton turned it into an advertisement because Ilana Glazer was in class and shed the spotlight on her.
Right.
They do that with all celebrities, so I don't think that's really a big deal. But apparently she talked to Robin the whole time. Some people said, one person who sent me a message, I don't want to, and I don't want to out that person.
Right.
But they indicated they felt like it was an advertisement, and that Ilana Glazer, it came across as that she had never taken a Peloton class. I will say I have not taken the class, so I don't know. I can't weigh in on that. But I did watch after she took the class, and there was like a reel that Peloton did. I thought it was great. I thought she was very, like, she was knowledgeable about Peloton.
Yeah.
She was like, I usually only take 15-minute classes.
Yeah, I watched the reel too. I was going to say, she did say that she typically takes really short classes.
Yeah. So maybe she doesn't know all the things about the classes because she takes such short classes. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Everybody uses it in different ways.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I don't know. She just seemed like a delightful person whenever we watched the movie, but obviously she's acting, so I don't know.
But I think it's got a...
It's her vibe.
Yeah.
She wrote it. How do you come up with that?
And and a lot of people might not be familiar with the movie because it's a smaller film that just came out, but she was also one of the stars and creative forces behind the show Broad City, which has a very loyal following.
Yeah. And also the other like main actress in the movie was Michelle something. Batua?
Batu?
Batu?
Yeah.
She was the host on the show The Circle, and she's had her own stand-up. She's a comedian, and she's been in lots of other movies here and there. I just haven't watched them all, so I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've always loved her. I just think she's got a great vibe. She always makes me smile when I see her. She just has such a friendly face. Anyway, love the movie, and I thought it was kind of cool. That was a fun celebrity sighting.
New content.
So the bingo that we announced in this segment is...
Kristen McGee.
Okay, there you go.
There's number 2.
Okay, it is time for the Clip Out Top 5. We ask you for your input on your favorite classes, and then we share them with the room so people can discover new things. And the first item up for bid is favorite Peloton running class.
Yes, and it's the Lindsey Sterling run with Becs Gentry. It took place on 5/28. And I tell you what, everyone is buzzing about this. Apparently there were videos that you could see Lindsey performing in, and Becs did an amazing job of navigating the conversation so that it felt conversational.
Right.
And Joanna Davis summarized this by saying, Becs' Lindsey Sterling run was my favorite this week. As soon as I logged in and saw Lindsey was on the leaderboard, I had a feeling she was going to be in class, and there she was. Becs was great, and the whole production showing clips of Lindsey's music videos was fantastic. Bravo to Peloton for trying something new. It was engaging, and the time flew by. I've heard this from numerous people. People are begging for more things like this. I have no doubt we are going to see more of this setup, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Number 2, favorite Peloton stretch.
Okay, so this was from Ross Rayburn. It was a lower body stretch on 5:30. It was 10 minutes. And Nikki Smith, our own helper bee Nikki, recommended this and said if you're a member of the short hamstring club, then Ross's lower body stretch from May 30th is the stretch you need in your life. Ross is at his biometrics best, giving stretch variations that allow you to actually get deeper into a stretch. And if you have short hamstrings, you know exactly how difficult that is without making you feel like you're going to rip your muscle in half. Me and my short hammies will be doing this one on repeat.
Number 3, favorite Peloton ride.
Okay, so the Killers ride with Emma Lovewell, also from 5:30. Diana Volk picked this, and she said that she liked how Emma doesn't talk too much and lets you enjoy the music. That is important on these musical classes, I will say. Everyone has different opinion. She also picked the best tracks for you.
But we now know yours.
Yeah. It depends on the artist.
Yeah.
It really does. She also picked the best tracks for you to give it your all and zone out. Loved it. I will say I did the Susie Chan outdoor 20-minute Killers run, and there's usually not a lot of talking during an outdoor run in general when there's music, like a special artist series. I really loved the vibe. It was so fun. It went by so fast, and I really enjoyed it. So I think part of it is just the vibe the Killers give off. They have great music. So I'm really glad to hear this one made the favorites.
Number 4, favorite Peloton yoga class.
Okay, back to Ross Rayburn.
Okay.
Made the list twice in 1 week.
That.
20-minute focus flow, lower body, and this was on 5:22. Amy Nance chose this class. She said, I am not usually a fan, but I took this class anyway, trying to give him another chance, and I'm so glad I did. I've taken several yoga classes, but this class was just what I needed. Ross gave explicit instruction on how to do the poses and exactly where you should be feeling it, and gave options to get you where you needed to be. Very helpful in helping me understand my body and alignment. 2 thumbs up.
Oh, it's good she's finally coming around on Ross Rayburn, and
As he's
leaving. And finally, your unstackable for the week is a run.
It is a 45-minute hit run from Becs Gentry on May 25th. She also gets 2 spots this week because we had the Lindsey Sterling run.
Right.
Leslie Gray Colbert said that she was done after this run. The programming makes it so doable, though, and you don't realize how bad it is until it's over.
Sounds like my first marriage.
No, she enjoyed it.
Oh.
Don't ever compare an instructor to your past marriage. I can't with that.
We have new Pride classes for June.
We do.
No recycling.
No recycling. I'm really excited about the content this month. I mean, they always do a great job. There's going to be camp yoga with Ross. There's going to be Pump the Beat Core with Rebecca. There's also going to be Pump the Beat lane break run and walk. Then there's also a Pump the Beat row with Ash. In other words, a hyper pop with Olivia. But there's going to be, in addition to all of that, the most exciting, Maura is back. Marathoner is back on June 22nd. And we will be seeing her for, I believe it's a walk. Yeah, it's a walk. And I also...
It's probably hard to run in those heels.
That's fair. That's fair. I can't wait to see the like outfit that Marathona is bringing, because Maddie posted a teaser and it had like Something Wicked This Way Comes, and it had a theme song from a famous musical. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I know it'll be fabulous. Marathoner will bring her best.
Sure.
We also have, get this is how old this is. It's going to blow your mind. Maddie is going to be doing a share class this month, and it is the first share class since Christopher Street.
Wow.
Maddie's favorite icon is Cher, and he has not done an entire Cher class since Christopher Street.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
So I'm very excited about that as well. It's going to be a great month with lots of great music. I know that these classes are just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be a lot more.
So apparently Peloton listens to the show.
Yeah, I think we might have inspired this. And if we didn't inspire that, then we tell the future. So
yes.
Take your pick. But
either way, we're where you should be.
Back on
April
Fool's Day. All I could think of was April 1st.
Well, that is April Fool's Day.
It is. We talked about the new instructors that were joining, and they were all pets of the instructors, and they were going to teach pet classes. Well, there's going to be Pet Appreciation Day classes.
Surprise.
And they are dropping tomorrow. I'm super excited about this, and it seems like we're actually going to see some dogs walking in class. Like, I think they're going to be outdoor classes, maybe. It's the way it's kind of sounding.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be part of the class. So that's pretty darn cool. I'm excited.
Peloton is celebrating Global Running Day.
They are. And I know that I already kind of ruined it with talking about the one with all of the instructors. But if you haven't taken that, you absolutely should. And as a bonus, if you're into Pride, they were wearing rainbow colors. This is a special moment, though. It's the first time Peloton has ever taken the London studio and the New York studio and had them in the same class during class. Like, it was very, very special. They didn't do it live, which is a little bit disappointing, I'm not going to lie. But I think it was probably for the best. That's a lot to try to manage.
Yeah, for sure.
There's always that delay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they didn't do that, but that's the special highlight, and everyone needs to take it. It is definitely all for one vibes. You will love it. There's also going to be more outdoor runs. There's going to be several focus flow for runners classes and strength and core runner all dropping today. So make sure that you take those. If you didn't get to take it on Global Running Day, because by the time you hear this, obviously that will be in the past, definitely you can still take them and enjoy them. It's not going to hurt, but
it's always Global Running Day in your heart.
That's true. That's true. It's a special day. It's really become a big deal to me. I love it. I get all kinds of badges from Strava and Whoop and then now Peloton. I mean, it makes me happy.
Also, Becs Gentry was doing something for Global Running Day with Nike.
She is. This is really special. Okay, so she is in Athens right now.
The original Greek marathon.
Yes. But apparently, when the guy did it, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, so don't even ask. When he originally did it, he got lost. And so he ended up repeating the route, and he ended up doing it like several times. So it's way longer than an actual marathon, like way longer. So because of that, Nike is celebrating by doing Pegasus 41. They are celebrating their new shoe, and there's going to be 41 runners that are doing a relay, and Becs is one of those runners.
Oh, cool.
They're all wearing new Nike Pegasus in green.
There is also a Road to Half Marathon program coming.
There, it is, and it dropped today as Global Running Day. Also, it's also super exciting because they dropped it on demand, and it's very cool because they had the Road to Marathon, right? But when they dropped the Road to Marathon, so many people said, I want the same training but for a half. And you do need to train differently for a half. Like, you cannot just cut it in half. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
So super exciting. You're going to be able to get strength, endurance, and of course, confidence. There's going to be 10 weeks of training in this, and they're going to be outdoor workouts, but they're also available on the tread. They all dropped today. Very exciting. So cool. I'm so excited about all the running content that dropped this week. Like, I am just like, it's a whole new platform for me. I am so freaking stoked. I love it.
In case you missed it.
We have information about the Lululemon meetup.
We do. That is going to be this weekend. We've talked about that before, the 7th and 8th, invite only. You had to be a Lululemon member, not really an invite. But anyway, point being, you're going to get, if you're going, a free Lululemon water bottle. You're going to get 20% off Peloton Studios retail store. You're also going to be able to hang out in the recovery lounge. You're going to be able to demo Beyond Feel shoes. And you're also going to be able to hang out with other members. In addition to all of that, I thought this was interesting. You have to validate your Lululemon membership on the iOS app for Lululemon or the website. You have to do that at check-in. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, they ain't messing around.
They are not messing around.
If you're not part of the team, no thank you.
No thank you at all. And we will have 2 different people that are going to be present, so we will have all the details on how that goes down this weekend.
Awesome.
Peloton birthdays.
So we have, one birthday this week and then 2 I missed.
Well, I will say last year we were probably gone around the same time. And missed some.
That'd do it.
Missed some
we
birthdays.
were. Because
Yeah.
we left on vacation like the day after the kids got out of school.
See, we missed
yeah,
some. Yeah.
I was wondering, like, how did I miss 2?
Yeah.
So Irene Scholes on June 3rd.
Yeah, she's like Kamer now. It's Irene Kamer now. I think it's my fault for saying Schultz whenever I sent that to you, but she's married now, and that is her married name.
Sorry.
My bad.
And then Rad Lopez, I believe it's still Rad.
It is still rad.
Okay.
It is still rad.
On June 4th.
Yes, it is.
And then coming up on June 8th, former Peloton instructor Cody Rigsby.
Stop it. Well, happy birthday, Irene, Rad, and Cody.
And coming up after this, we're going to talk to Jodie Sweetin, so stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube, it's Jodie Sweetin. Hey, Jodie, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. It's much better than the last brief moment that I appear and then was like, everything's falling apart. I have to go.
We totally understand.
Oh, yes, we do.
have children as well. So
Yes.
we've been down that road.
Between kids and allergies, it was just not my day.
It was not your day.
It was not the day that I planned.
Sometimes the best thing to do is to just like own it and be like, you know what?
It's not going to happen today.
Yeah.
It's just not happening.
You know what? As I've gotten older, and it's hard because I've lived my life according to like a regular, pretty strict, like try and do it, like, you know, even at my messiest, I was like, I like to show up if I say I'm going to do something. And I've learned as I get older that sometimes the stress of that is just not worth it. It's so much better to be like, hey, this and this is kind of falling apart right now. I need to prioritize because if you've got all that going on over there, you're not present anyway. So
You're not.
For sure.
You're not going to give, like, we've canceled interviews before or rescheduled them because it's like there's an emergency happening.
Right.
And we are not going to be able to give you the interview
Life
you
happens.
deserve. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And let's face it.
Exactly. Life happens. And particularly when you have kids, life happens because you're getting sick that much more. They're getting sick. All of a sudden you had a very full day planned and 10:15 someone calls from the nurse's office and you have to go and cancel everything else because now you're like, oh no, and you have 103 fever and we're going to urgent care. And yeah, you know, it's great.
Well, let's face it, it's not exactly like we're the Today Show.
That's right. That's right.
Look, even if it were, I would have been like, I think I need to go deal with this. Yeah. So
Well,
it is what it is. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be here. And I appreciate you guys rescheduling me.
Oh,
So
Well,
thanks.
we are super happy to have you back.
so
And I feel
happy.
like I would like to say on the record that when you had to leave last time, we just kind of let it drop. We're like, well, that's fine. Things happen. No big deal.
Yeah.
And you and your camp reached back out to us to reschedule. Like
so nice.
That
like
was
you were
super nice of you.
So
And
nice, unexpected,
yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
like made our day. So thank you so
Yes.
much.
Oh, no, my pleasure. Yeah, when they were like, they reached out, the podcast reached out and, if you want to, use this. I'm like, oh my gosh, please, like, that doesn't count. That, whatever that mess was for those few minutes, like, that was not a thing. So let's start this over again.
Oh, well, so sweet of you. Okay, so I want to ask about like your Peloton background, because we really didn't get into that last time, and like how often you've used it and how you got into it. We didn't get into all that.
So I got into Peloton over the pandemic, as a lot of people did, and it was something that I was wanting to buy for myself, but I am oftentimes the worst at making those sorts of decisions for like items that are like maybe more of a big ticket item, for like something that I want specifically. And so around the time that my now husband moved out here from New York during the pandemic, he was also looking for something to stay active and do, because he was coming from walking all the time in New York. And we used to take like spin classes and stuff together. A friend that was an instructor or whatever. So I had been saying, I think I want a Peloton, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do it, like, with everything going on. And he was like, just let's do it. So he put it on his credit card and it like showed up one day. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you made this decision. Because I use it. I'm not one of those people that rides like 5 days a week or whatever, but it has been a consistent part of my routine. And it's just something that I always know, like I can jump on the bike and like sweat it out for 30 minutes and I feel great.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's an instant like, okay, I can just go do this. And it makes me really happy.
I mean, yeah.
And I hated spinning when I first started.
Did you?
Hated it.
You hated spinning?
Oh my God, I hated it.
So
it was years ago, like when spin class was like first a thing. And I was a member at some gym or whatever. And it was like, they had a spin class. And this is like the days before, any sort of the boutique, Soul Cycle or Spin Lab or all these places. And I remember I took it and I was like, I could not stand up in the saddle.
Right.
That was really hard. But what was harder was the seat. So I sat in that seat and bruised the little bone like right under your cheek there. Oh my God. I was like, this is terrible. Why do people do this? This is torturous. And then I was like, gonna go back the next week. I tried to get on the bike. I was like, nope, we're not. Nope, still uncomfortable. Still can't do it. And so like I walked away from it for a while. I was like, these people are crazy. Why are they doing this to themselves? And then I had a trainer who was a good friend of mine who I started working with, doing like personal training stuff. But she was also a spin instructor and a dancer. And so part of our training was we trained at a gym that had a small private spin studio. Like they did like 10-person, 15-person spin classes. So she and I would do a one-on-one spin class for like 15 or 20 minutes. But because I had been working out and doing all this stuff, I now didn't have to plant my ass on the hard seat the whole time. And I could stand up and I was strong and like had the cardio to do it. And I was like, oh, this is a cool workout. And then it was like in a dark room with loud music. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Like it just changed everything, but it definitely was not something I loved at first. And now I really enjoy it. And I'm that crazy person that like tells people like the story of like injuring my tailbone and being like, no, but I promise it's great. You'll love it.
That won't happen to you, though.
No, you'll be fine. Yeah. You'll be fine. It's so funny because Peloton has like an official page that they have out on Facebook, and it's like a group, and it used to be super small. Like when I first joined back in 2015, it was like 8,000 people, and now it's like 500,000. I mean, it's crazy. And so people are like not necessarily as encouraging as they used to be. But you see over and over again, still to this day, like, well, what do I do about the seat? How do I make it not hurt? And it's like, you just have to keep going back. Like, you just have to get through it.
Keep going, right. And then eventually, like, I do a lot of low impact classes because my knees, and I have titanium in my ankle and my left shin, and then I've got like pins and stuff in my right foot too. So I have a lot going on with all that. So I do a lot of low impact classes because just standing up out of the saddle sometimes is not for me. And now, no problem. Like it's fine. It's which I don't know if that means that I've just tortured that part of my body so much while sitting on the seat that now I have zero feeling there. And I've just done some sort of damage, or maybe it's just that I'm really strong now and I'm capable of handling it.
We're going to go with you.
I'm going to go with the latter, but it could be.
You sound like Crystal. Like, here's something good I did. Let me figure out a way to make it into a character flaw.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tom. Okay, so go ahead.
I was gonna say, all that titanium, boy, flying must be fun.
Oh yeah. Do you have to like get?
Well, titanium actually doesn't go off in the metal detector.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that does not go off, but it's definitely, I severely snapped my tibia and my fibula and my ankle and dislocated it, and doing a very stupid small thing, rescuing a $1 toy for my kid about 8 years ago.
Okay.
2016. Yeah. Hopped over a small fence, which I've done many times before, and just happened to catch my pant leg on it, and then came crashing down and just snapped it off to the side that it should not go to.
Okay.
Because your foot shouldn't look like an S.
No.
And so, yeah. So I honestly didn't think I'd ever be as active as I am. I've been more active, I think, since that, almost even than I was before it. Like I've done a lot more physical activity stuff and hiking and all kinds of things that I really genuinely, when I was in the midst of healing from this and 2 surgeries and not walking on it for weeks and just really in a lot of pain, I did not think I'd be able to do it again. So I am very grateful to even get my little self on that Peloton.
I bet.
Yeah.
It's clipping in and out for a while. I was like, I can't do that.
You just leave them.
I can't swivel my ankle like that. I just had to put the shoe in and then put my foot in the shoe.
I just think about what Jess Sims all the time. You don't have to. You get to. That's like it really, when you have a period of time in your life where you can't do the things you want to do, you truly do value being able to move. And so it always goes through my head when I think about that.
Yeah. And I really, really do genuinely like value it, as much as there are the days I'm like, I don't want to. I just sort of don't think about it and do it. I genuinely was like, I don't know that I'll get to do all of that kind of fun stuff again, because it was a really long recovery.
Wow.
So do you and Andrea, do you ride together? Do you tend to take the same type of classes, or do you have totally different ideas of how you should utilize?
We have totally different ideas, I think, of what we ride to. Basically ride to like all 90s hip hop and R&B, or like Beyonce. And Andrea, I think has probably done, if there's a New Kids ride, it has done every single one of them. If there isn't, she's planned one. But no, we actually, it's funny because Andrea rides way more than I do. Like she's like way more committed to Peloton. She was like a runner and like all of this stuff. I am, truth be told, I am merely someone who works out in order to balance out my cheeseburger life. And so like, but she takes like 45-minute classes, and I'll take those sometimes, but I'll be like, nah, I'm good at my little 30-minute. But I do 30 minutes and then I do some like arms, or I'll do an interval class. And yeah, I do a lot of Tune Day classes. I love her. I love her energy. She just makes me feel really good and happy on the bike. And then if I really want to try and hate the class while I'm in it, but also feel really accomplished after, I'll take Alex Toussaint, because he really is hard I find all of his class. I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing? Yeah, but it's good at the end.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really funny because I guess whenever I think of you two both liking Peloton in my head, you would like it in a similar way because you come from the same world in my head. I know that's not accurate, but that's
right.
That's how it looks over here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, oh, you guys must ride together. I'm like, we have probably very different taste in music and like aggressive, I'm like, when I ride, like I'm one of those people. I also sing when I ride.
Oh, fun.
So because it's also a really good like form of breath control and cardio exercise, and being a singer, it's just hard for me sometimes not to. So yeah, I will be in there with my AirPods in, and my husband, I come out, after riding the Peloton, he's like, you sounded great. You were doing really Thanks.
That's how Taylor Swift prepped for the Eras tour, not on a Peloton.
It's true. It actually is. It's as a singer and as someone who likes to be in relatively good shape, it's a great form of practice to be halfway through a class doing a climb and also singing along to some Lauryn Hill. I
saw the other day that Kirsten Ferguson posted this thing about associating during exercise and disassociating during exercise, and how people do different things. I have discovered after thinking it through, I am a disassociator. So even though I hear the music and I enjoy the music, I can't remember to sing along. Like I have actually tried to do it when I'm running because I did want to work on the breath control and get better with my lungs. And like I literally forget because I'm concentrating so hard on my speed or staying, like keeping my breath even or whatever. I forget. Right. And so I find that fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. It's like I have to be. It's like a very much a sort of mental meditation exercise. Also, when I'm, I think that's probably for a lot of people. But like, I will really sort of zone in on one particular area or thing or movement, or to really get like the most effective bit out of it. But yeah, I feel like I dissociate sort of too when I'm in that zone. But it's almost like I'm just on autopilot. Okay. Like if I just don't think about it, and if I just don't think about it, I'm singing. It's like la 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 la. Like I'm enjoying the music and I'm not in the physical sensation of it.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
I picture you like in an argument with your husband, and then you just start singing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm disassociating from you right now.
We really don't even argue, mostly because I sing at him. No, we don't argue because, we both know that neither one of us will back down or want to be wrong. And we're like, this is not the hill I want to die on most of the time. You know what I mean? Like the things that we would be like stupid back and forth over, we're both just like, this is dumb. This is about loading a dishwasher or something, because we will fight to the personality of both of us would be like, no. You're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong.
It's funny. We've had this conversation because we are both very competitive people, but we're very fortunate that like the things that we're competitive about are polar opposites.
So opposite. So we never compete against each other.
We don't, cross the streams, if you will.
Yeah. It's very funny.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You have your own things that you're competitive about, but not necessarily with each other, which is, that's always a good idea.
And we're talkers.
Yeah.
So like
we talk everything to death.
Our fights are just like talking.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. We have to go to sleep at some point. So.
Right. You're like, okay, we're done now.
Yeah. What about any other kind of classes on the platform? Obviously, you take the bike classes. Do you take any? And it sounded like strength with Tunde. Are there other classes you're taking?
I do. I'll do like the arms classes. I also really love the yoga and the floor Pilates classes because, one thing for me is when I'm traveling, I oftentimes can't get, I'll be in a small hotel, in north of Toronto and don't really have a gym nearby or, time to do my normal routine or, have a Peloton just sitting in my hotel room. And so I find those are like such a huge help and assistance when I can like be somewhere and still have those workouts and those strength workouts. And I also doing a lot of it and starting a lot of the Peloton stuff during the pandemic. I really tried things that before I was like, oh, I need to be in the room to do yoga, or I need to be, And now it's such a great addition to kind of my balance routine. And sometimes I'll have a week where I'm like, I don't feel great. I'm just, there's no way I can get on the bike. I don't feel like physically exerting myself. A yoga class, it's something,
Yeah.
And like in those classes there, or the meditation ones or whatever, it just like diversify on my own terms. I don't have to, find a class or something and wait for it to happen.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. I always, again, in my head, I think like people who are like celebrities like yourself, that you would be like, I want to work out at home. I don't want to go out in public and be recognized. I want to like work out in my own home and not have anybody see me. And so I've always thought that Peloton should just be like majorly a hit with everyone that it lives that world, just for that reason.
Visually recognizable.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're like going to a class, maybe sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to, necessarily like be recognized or something. Yeah, but it is, I love being able to work out at home too, because I actually just transformed what was my guest room that kind of stopped, like my parents didn't stay as much because the kids weren't as little, whatever. But I'm transforming that into like my home workout room. My Peloton's in there. I'm going to get like, some little weight set, get my yoga mats up on the wall. I have a nice couple little poofs to put around for meditation, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like really focusing on giving myself an area to create that.
Oh, I love that. That'll be great. You have to send us pictures when you're done.
Yeah. Oh, I will. Definitely. I will definitely be posting them. My friend has been helping me. We just did a really pretty, like one of those peel and stick wallpaper murals in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, having some fun with it.
Cool.
So I know we talked about this a little bit last time, but tell us about the podcast that you and Andrea have.
So How Rude Tanneritos has been so much fun. Andrea and I started doing it. We're produced by Danielle Fishel and Jensen Karp, as well as iHeart, but they do Pod Meets World, which is the Boy Meets World recap podcast. And so it kind of all came about when Andrea had gone on there and then I had gone on there within just a couple weeks of each other. And we had both said that we never watched the show, that we never, we didn't, it just wasn't something that we grew up watching. We'd never really seen the episodes. Once we did them, we kind of just, moved on, and how fans knew them so much better than we did. And also that now we were kind of in our time in our lives where it was funny to go back and look at them, as opposed to when you're like a teenager or still just out of it and you're like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So, we went back and we decided to do this podcast. Danielle and Jensen and iHeart approached us about like, why don't you guys do a rewatch podcast? Because you've never watched the show. And so, you have like kind of a fresh set of eyes on this show that's been around forever. And in a weird way, like you also have all of the behind the scenes experience. So it's been like going back and watching old home movies that you haven't watched in 30 plus years and being like, oh my God, that I remember that, thing or whatever. So even stupid little props or whatever, but it's just so much fun to walk down memory lane like that. And especially to do it with Andrea, with AB, as I call her. But, she and I have always been really close and really good friends, even when we were doing, Full House back in the day when she was, Kimmy and Steph were ultimate frenemies. But yeah, we have so much fun together. It doesn't feel like work. We get to come together and do fun podcasts. We watch the show and, I make stupid jokes and silly comments about it, and we laugh at our ridiculous hairstyles, and we've gotten to interview some incredible people that we've worked with. I mean, Dave Coulier's been on, Jeff Franklin, John Stamos, Candace, Lori, obviously. But we've also gotten to interview Lenny Rips, who was one of the writers, who, was writing for, like all of these incredible Joan Rivers, and like writing material for huge stand-up comics, and then came to write Full House Kids and created, the Kim character or whatever. So it's also about getting to go back and like interview. It's like talking to the adults that you've grown up with your whole life and finally asking them the questions about how did you get into this? What was your life like? And realizing that you've been surrounded by people who are giants in this industry in a lot of ways. And it's been a really fun, heartwarming and touching experience too, because everyone who has worked on the show or been a part of both Full and or Fuller House has come on the show and has said they've never experienced anything like it in their entire careers. And some of these people have worked in this business for 45, 50 years. Wow. And they just said it was a really special and unique environment. So I'm just glad that we get to share it with everybody. It's really fun.
I bet it's really cool to talk to the adults, people who were adults when you were a child, but now they can answer you knowing that you're an adult and they don't have to necessarily protect you from certain things, not necessarily anything dark or nefarious, but just
it's like finding out all of the stuff that was talked about at the big people dinner table when you were stuck at the kids table.
Exactly.
It's about finally feeling like, oh, I'm one of the adults too.
Yeah.
And, that was I think a big thing for Candace and Andrea and I on Fuller too, was coming back as the adult leads on the show and being like, oh, it's, we're in that position now. And kind of stepping into that. But it's been really great.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't really think about it from that perspective, but you came full circle on Fuller House.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We Candace wrote an episode, things that we had wanted to do for a long time. And we got opportunities to do them amongst, a family of people, some of whom we'd known for 30 plus years.
Wow.
That's really cool.
It is.
Crystal and I always have like a classic sitcom in the mix. That's because of me, because I'm old. And so like right now we're doing Barney Miller, but we recently did Bosom Buddies, which is famous for being Tom Hanks' kind of first starring vehicle, and Peter Scolari as well. And like I always go down the rabbit hole, like looking up the writers and directors. And I had never realized until we rewatched Bosom Buddies that like a lot of the Full House people came from Bosom Buddies.
That was how a lot of them came to work on Full House, was through Bosom Buddies. Joel Zwick, our director, who we had as an interview, directed a ton of Bosom Buddies and is very good friends with Tom Hanks, who came to the set to visit him, I believe, once or twice. But yeah, like these, these people, like I said, they were giants of the television industry and of some of the most popular shows of the late 70s, early 80s, into the late 80s, 90s. And it's, you don't realize it as a kid. You're like, oh, that's just so-and-so, you know, like that's just, they're just there and they do. Yeah, I know they're a writer. Like they do their thing, whatever. But you're not really, it's not like you're ungrateful for it, but you're just not
aware.
It just doesn't mean anything to you.
You're like, man, whatever. So yeah, it's been really cool to get to go back and reconnect and learn about just the incredible work of some of these people who have been in our lives for so long.
For sure.
Has there been a particular story that you've heard that you were surprised at? Like the one that stands out?
That you didn't previously know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I know oh, God, I'm the worst at recalling stuff like this. My brain these days is just like, bleh. I know we've had a couple, probably... I'm trying to remember what things have said. I know there's always like funny stories from like Dave about like the real reason that somebody was running late or that something, you know what I mean? We're like, remember that time we were waiting? Right. There will be, a lot of funny fill-ins on like, well, it was actually because, whatever, like this was happening or somebody was stuck in the bathroom or whatever. Like funny stories, but I know there've been a couple surprising ones. I mean, there've been stuff like Andrea, auditioning for DJ, which was originally called, the character was named Jennifer.
Oh.
And we found the original sides that Andrea's mom had kept from the very first audition for Full House with the names Jennifer and, I forget who they weren't the Tanner family. They were, I forget what we said they were, but yeah, it like interesting little deep dives into the show was like created or what almost was, or, all of that has been gosh, I wish I could remember them all. But I know the Jeff Franklin episode had some really great ones.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
well, people
awesome.
can go look for that one.
Yeah, for sure.
So one more quick acting question. I'm just curious. What is the role or project you took part in that you're the most proud or excited of that is not Full House related?
Ooh.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm working on a couple things right now that are very different. That a friend of mine who's written a lot of plays, is an incredible playwright, that she wrote, that we are working with another producer friend of ours on potentially turning into a movie. And it's something I think very different and a little bit of a thriller, a little bit of a psychological drama. But that's something I'm excited about. And then I'd say some of the things that I'm the most proud or excited about right now, I've been doing more comedy, and I have a monthly show called Family Dinner here in LA. Well, as monthly as we can get it, depending on my schedule. But it is a panel show that I host with 3 other stand-up comedians, and it's just been so much fun kind of moving more into the comedy world and into the writing world and just doing things a little bit differently, and a little more of who Jodie is and not necessarily only Stephanie.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I'm sure that has to be
tough to move out of, in and out of,
difficult
as
to
you
navigate
want
sometimes.
to do.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's such a beloved show and character, and has given me it's given me everything, in so many ways. But it's also, that creative desire to want to do something different and to know that I can do something different and try.
Yeah.
So pivoting back to Peloton,
Yeah.
Do you have a preferred instructor?
Tunde, I take almost all classes with her. I just love her energy. She is, for me, music is a huge part of working out. Like, I don't really care about what metrics we're going to hit. I just look at playlists. Because if I don't like the music consistently going on through the whole workout, I'm going to be like, I can't listen to the song. It doesn't motivate me. And so she just always, we're around, I think around the same age. So like all of her taste in music is very similar to mine. So it's always stuff that gets me hyped up. And she like pushes in a way that it like is encouraging and is, I don't know, like she just has a way about her that really pushes me to do more in class and push myself beyond what I think I can do, but while also like listening to and honoring any injury or anything that might be going on. Like sometimes I feel like some, not necessarily on Peloton, but that, some instructors will be like, just go, push. And like, she does a really great job at being like, push, but also listen to yourself. And that's something that I struggle with a lot is, pushing myself beyond what I should and what I'm comfortable doing. And so I love her energy and her vibe. And she's got like such a great smile. So like when she just will look and like smile, I'm like, okay, I can do it. I can keep going.
That's awesome.
She does.
Are you comfortable with sharing your leaderboard name?
Yeah, it's Too Sweet 82.
That's great.
Nice. The number 2?
The number 2?
The number 2. Yeah, sorry. The number 2, SWEET 82. And yeah, if you want to follow me on there, go for it. I'm very technologically not savvy, and there are a lot of features that I don't do. But I do know how to high five people in class, and I like to do that. That's always like a nice little bit of encouragement. And then, I follow Andrea, and I think a couple other people on there. So yeah, feel free to follow me. And you can, see how often I'm not on the Peloton, and call me out on it.
You will have thousands of accountability partners.
Yes, you will.
Oh my God, right? I know. Yeah, exactly. Damn it. No. What have I done?
Well, Jodie, thank you so much for joining us and for rescheduling when
So
life
kind
threw
of
your
you.
curveballs last time.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that.
We do.
And before we let you go, remind everybody
Absolutely.
where they can find you and all the places where they can find the show, that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You can find me on Instagram at Jodie Sweetin. You can also find the podcast at How Rude Podcast on Instagram. And yeah, you can check out my show Family Dinner. That's also has an Instagram at FamDinShow. And you can catch all the newest dates and stuff coming up in hopefully June. But yeah, I'm just so glad I got to come back and do this. And thanks again for having me on. And I'll see you guys out there on the leaderboard.
Awesome. Thank you.
You made it this far. It's the end of the show. But there's more show.
There is.
There's more show.
Yeah. We're going to go record it.
There's a bonus episode coming. So if you're just like, how did it end so quickly?
So quickly.
you can go over to patreon.com/theclipout. $5 a month. You get an extra 25 minutes a week of content, and you get these episodes without the pesky ads. And if we get them early, you get them early, and you'll know that secretly in our heart, we like you extra.
Absolutely.
So until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on the other socials and the Peloton leaderboard at ClipOutCrystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/TheClipOut. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our aforementioned Patreon. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
and running
and rowing.
Bye.
Clip in.